Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have part 2 of that Diana guide I promised. I'm sorry it took so long. I've been busy this past week, but I promise we will be consistent with the content again. Alright, so just jumping into it, I just want to cover the build real quick, just like an overview. I know I took a lot of time last time with the build, but this time it's just a quick overview. You always want to go mana boots into either Heart Seal or Rod of Ages. Build whichever one you build first, you build the other second. Third, you want to go Psychic Projector, then Rabbit on Zcap, then pretty much any tank item of your choosing depending on the matchup that you're playing against. And then of course you go Grasp as your rune, as well as for your non-keystone runes you go the sustain runes, the green ones. Sorry, I forgot the name, so sorry. You go Nullifying Orb, and then Bone Plating, and then usually Overgrowth as your third, and your last one is usually Gathering Storm. If you want like a more detailed breakdown of the build and runes, check out part 1. This guide will be mostly like matchups and gameplay guide and like tips. So I would say one of the most important tips is knowing your matchup. If you usually, when I go into melee matchups that I know that I can trade into, I'll upgrade my second ability. First I'll max it out first while I'm in lane. So I'll go like first ability, then second ability, then third ability, then second ability again, and then ult, of course. This just helps you have the shield up more often and you can get more trades off. But in matchups where you don't really want to walk up, you want to just like farm, I would of course max the first just for the extra cooldown. Actually, I'm not sure if I do that in this matchup, in this game against Garen, if I max the second ability first. Yeah, I went first ability, but in other harder matchups, I would recommend maxing second first. Another good tip is this build is very weak early game. Not very weak, but it's weaker than most other Baron laners early game. So most of the times you will just be poking the lane, just trying to get those last hits, not really trying to engage until level 3. Once you hit level 3, you'll have all 3 abilities, and you'll have like more access to like combos. You can dash in. You can first ability dash in, second ability, and then dash back out if you tag the minion on your way there. So that's a really nice combo to get trades in if the matchup allows. But yeah, like I said before, you'll usually just be last hitting. And also another thing is, if you go against a ranged matchup, you usually want to go first ability no matter how rough the lane is, because you won't get a lot of chances to use your second ability on them. Another good tip is that you usually don't want to take like full-on fights until level 5, unless you snowballed and you got a kill or 2 before level 5, which rarely happens. Rarely. And you probably got like multiple ganks for that to happen. But yeah, usually you want to wait until you get your ult. Once you get your ult, you can, if you get a good engage, you can get a kill a lot of times. Not against everybody, but yeah, it's pretty good to look out for once you hit that level 5. It sometimes throws people off because you be poking all early game and then suddenly you hit level 5 and just dive in. Sometimes you get some really easy kills. Yeah, otherwise this build it's really late game. You wanna spend as much time as possible just devoting time to farming and getting as much like CS as possible, getting as far ahead as you can as possible. Kind of into the later game, another nice tip is usually on AP Diana, you want to manage your third ability. You don't want to like use it against, like, when you don't have the moonlight on somebody. But with this build, you kind of get a good bit of ability haste, so the cooldown is pretty low. And another good thing is that you are pretty tanky, so you're not punished as much for just using your third ability, just going in. I'm not telling you to just go in every time, but don't be as scared to use your third ability and put it on cooldown as when you play normal AP Diana. Alright, so now we'll be getting into matchups. What you don't want to see when you're playing this AP Diana build is a lot of like percent health damage. So like champions that I'm thinking of are like max HP damage. So things like Darius, Master Yi, Gwen, Vayne, and Red Kayn. Those champs right there, that's just like a list I put together, quick list. There's probably a lot more that you'd want to avoid. Those are the ones that I especially avoid in matchmaking. I'd say heavy on Darius, mostly because I mean, usually you can play against Darius in lane if you play it well. You can manage against a Darius, but your teammates don't play that well, and then like they feed the Darius. And a fed Darius is not good for anybody. Nobody wants to play against that. So yeah, that's just kind of like that for Darius. It's really annoying. Like once he gets your number, once he gets one kill on you, it's kind of over. There's very few times he can kill him one-on-one. I also say Red Kayn is a huge counter, and Master Yi. Master Yi, once he gets like his second or third item, he really becomes a nuisance. There might have been this game. It might be this game. Later on, you'll see. I'll be like 3,000-4,000 gold up on him, and he almost takes me in a 1v1. I barely beat him. But yeah, those are the champions to look out for. Champions that you like to play against. So I'm thinking mostly top lane matchups. What top lane matchups you want to see? And I would say like non-traditional top lane matchups are fun to see. I know I earlier said that Vayne's not a good matchup into you, but like in lane, Vayne is so fun to play against. It's so easy to get that kill on her early game once you get to level 5. But you have to be vigilant. Don't let her get any like early kills on you, and you can low-key beat her. And then like Heimerdinger, Yasuo, Irelia, those like non-tank top laners are just no match for your AP Diana build. Of course, if you play it appropriately, don't just dive in. But the tank matchups are also pretty nice. But the matchups that you'll have a lot of trouble against early game will be those like Bruiser matchups. So like a Nautilus, no, sorry, not Nautilus. Like a Shen maybe, or who else? Darius, of course. Garen. This Garen wasn't really the best Garen, but a good Garen can give you quite a bit of trouble. Volibear, Ornn sometimes can be quite annoying, but those more like damage-oriented tanks are quite annoying to play against. And so now I'm just gonna commentate on the build. I don't really have that many other tips for you. If I come up with any more as we go, I will. I kind of just want to touch on why I chose this game. This isn't like the most educational, like, oh, here's the best way to lane with Diana. This is more like a stomp. I would say this is like 1 in 4 of your games. It's not that rare to just have a game where early game it went really well and you're just snowballing. Because sometimes once she gets going, she really gets going. And I would say she kind of falls off around like, I would say like 14 minutes. even when you're snowballing, there's like a little slump. But once you get to full build and everything keeps stacking, your Gathering Storm, your Heartsteel, your Overgrowth Rune, all of those, your extra health from Grasp, once those keep stacking, like you really start feeling the damage. At one point, like you'll go like a 5th tank item and you'll be one-shotting squishes, which is really fun to see. Alright, so in this game, I think soon I'll go back for the Psychic Projector, because then, like this is just like this is not like full damage wise, because I don't think my Rod of Ages have stacked fully yet. I didn't check out what time I built it, but I don't think it's stacked fully yet. Heartsteel is almost at 500 stacks, which is nice, but I also had no other AP items, so all that damage I was doing was really just Heartsteel, Rod of Ages and boots. And now that I got that Psychic Projector, AP from the item, as well as the passive that converts HP into AP, we'll be chilling damage. It's really good damage now. Of course, it won't compare to full AP Diana, but of course there's a trade-off if you're gonna go tank Diana, and that trade-off is that you won't do as much burst damage, but man, you're tanky. And she also takes turrets like at a decent speed. So like this build is just like overall really good team utility. Like you're just a nice meat shield. You have kind of like the CC, not really, but like on your ult with that full combo. That's always nice to see. Ooh, I can actually talk about what champs you like to see on your team when you play with Diana. So champs that you want to see when you're running this build are like supports. You want to see like a healing support, like a Sona. Sona's good. Yumi's good. Like when your Yumi, if you start to pop off and your Yumi realizes that and they attach to you, that's really nice. Soraka, amazing. Soraka is just so amazing. If you have a Soraka on your team, I would recommend you to buy the what's that item called? The Spirit Visage. Yes, that one. That will like increase the healing that you get from her. It's just so like there's no words to describe just how great it feels as an AP Diana to just go from like 50% health or like 30% health to like 80, just like that. And that's her ultimate. But then also just like her her normal healing ability, it gives you back so much. It's just so good to see. The other thing you really like to see is engage type with like AoE engages, like engage type champions. So a Mumu, really nice. Like comboing that ult late game with a Mumu, amazing. Let me think about like other good engages. Man, I'm kind of blanking on good engages. I guess like Zyra's ult would also be really nice, just to like hold the enemy there while you're getting ready to ult them. Galio ult is also good. That's also good to see. And then I guess I can cover weaknesses of this build other than like matchups. So one weakness sometimes can be if you have a horrible team. Sadly, your team can lose the game for you. Sometimes there will be matchups where they just, with other team, you really just can't 1v5 them. They just out damage you. They do way more damage than you can tank and deal out, and so you do your best. Don't get me wrong, but the other team, your team is just so useless, and that in low elo that happens a lot. I guess I am still in low elo. by most standards. But yeah, I think we're finishing this game up. Actually no, we have 3 minutes. I do want to say this is not your typical like, oh, I'm always gonna go 10-0 with this build. But you will soak up a lot of damage. There are games where I go like 70k damage taken and like 50k damage dealt, and it's just, there's like a stat padding build, and that's the last weakness of this build, actually, the current meta. I don't know if I touched on this in the last guide, but in this current meta, you don't want to be, you don't want to tank a lot. I don't know how to explain it. Like the system, you get worse teammates when you, like the higher your stats are, especially your tanking stats, you get worse like teammates in matchmaking. So I wouldn't spam this build like 10 games in a row. You're gonna end up going on like a losing streak after like 4 or 5. But what I like to do is alternate. I play like an ADC build, so like I'll go like Jinx, and yeah, I'll go like 3 Jinx games and then I'll go back to it. Or I'll go like 4 Zyra games and then go back to this. So I like to alternate the champs that I play, specifically because this build just wouldn't help you with matchmaking. So yeah, this game I got S rank, of course. I mean, it was kind of a stomp, better than 100%. MVP, of course. So if y'all enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it so much if you dropped a like and subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you guys for 32 subscribers. I'm so grateful, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.